Hi, this is Kath from KathleenRobb.com. And today I wanted to nerd out again, this time about sleep. Why vitamin sleep is the most important factor for your cardiometabolic health. Now, I don't know about you, but I am an introvert. I like my me time. I'm a night owl, so I can very easily stay up all night and very difficult to get up in the morning by nature. And in the past, those two factors have meant that I've really valued that late night time. So after all my duties of the day I've done, whether work duties, looking after the house, getting back to other people, making contact with people, any projects I'm working on, mum life, all that kind of thing. At the end of the day, I get to put all that to one side and just have me time. Responsibilities over for the day and just time to really reflect and be by myself. And I really value that, which has meant that being a night owl, being an introvert, I go to bed too late. And I was happy with this arrangement until relatively recently I've started doing research into how lack of sleep affects our health and how to get better sleep. So while I will be definitely doing more posts on how to improve sleep, how to address common sleep issues, today I really wanted to focus on why vitamin sleep is essential for our cardiometabolic health. So welcome. So the first thing is, which isn't specific to cardiometabolic health, but I think it really warrants attention, is that sleep deprivation and insomnia really impact our mental health. And mental health is a crucial part of all health conditions at the moment in particular. And it's important to note that sleep deprivation, insomnia, and ongoing poor sleep can worsen anxiety, depression, and our resilience to stress. Now, I don't want to oversimplify these conditions because they are complex, they are multifactorial, and they need a multifactorial approach. In fact, I recently did a separate video and blog about why we need a multifactorial approach to depression and the importance of nutrition as part of that approach. So check that one out. And there'll be a link on my website about that. But sleep is another factor with our mental health. And regardless of what other health conditions we've got going on, if we're not looking after our mental health, that will impact our resilience and ability to look after physical health as well. So yeah, it's really important to note that sleep is essential for our mental well-being. It's also really important to note that sleep is a hormonal issue. So our cortisol and our melatonin are constantly moving in waves throughout the day, and they are inverse to each other. They are opposite cycles. So when melatonin peaks at nighttime, cortisol should be low. When cortisol peaks in the morning, melatonin should be low. That's when we're healthy. Now, because sleep is primarily a hormonal condition, it has other impacts on the other hormones in our body. So when we have sleep deprivation, we tend to have higher blood sugar, high cortisol, and then because of the higher blood sugar, we have high insulin. Now, if we're continually raising our blood sugar and therefore producing more insulin, our muscles tend to become resistant to responding to that insulin, which is a condition termed as insulin resistance. And what happens then is we need more and more insulin to get less and less of a result in managing our blood sugar, and that can actually progress to diabetes type 2. So, and that worsens our cardiometabolic risk factors as well. So it's really important for our insulin sensitivity to get a good night's sleep. Now, also as a part of this, sleep affects our other hormone production, such as ghrelin and leptin, which are our appetite hormones. So they look after our appetite and then our sense of fullness. And we need to keep them in balance so that we seek food when our body needs it and we stop eating when we've had enough. Now, what happens when we're sleep deprived is these hormones reflect more a state of hunger. So we're actually artificially increasing our appetite and therefore we think we're hungrier than we really should be, and we're eating more. So as a result of eating more each day when we're sleep deprived, we're also then putting on weight. Now, what's even worse about this is that in people who are sleep deprived, the weight that we put on favors visceral fat, which is the worst way to put on weight. That's the dangerous fat around our abdomen and around our organs, which is the type that we don't want. So the weight gain that is encouraged by sleep deprivation is the unhealthy kind of weight gain around our organs, and can lead to obesity, abdominal obesity, visceral obesity, whichever way you'd like to term it, which puts us at a higher risk of other health conditions. It can also lead to hypertension when we don't get enough sleep. So what happens is when we're sleeping well, our blood pressure naturally drops a little bit. But when we're not sleeping enough, we don't get as much of that drop, and our nighttime blood pressure increases, and that can lead on to daytime increase in blood pressure as well. In fact, going to bed 1 hour early over the course of 6 weeks led to a reduction in blood pressure of an average of 7/4 millimeters of mercury by the end of the study. So this can be due to a hyperarousal state if we're just aroused and awake for too long, and increasing cortisol, because we need our cortisol to keep going and push through and continue to have energy. So when we're not sleeping enough, we're increasing our cortisol, which can underpin both the insomnia and the cardiometabolic dysfunction and hypertension. So we've had all these conditions: insulin resistance, obesity, particularly visceral obesity, and hypertension. And there's also some emerging evidence, more of a correlation, so we don't have all the facts, but there's an indication that sleeping less than 5 hours a night is a risk factor for poorer cholesterol results, for increased coronary calcifications, and as we get less and less sleep, the risk increases. So with the winter months upon us here in the south, I'd really like to encourage you to turn off the Netflix, stop the scroll, leave your unfinished tasks for another day. And when that wave of sleep hits you, when you feel that you could get to sleep, don't push through. Don't wait for a second wind. Catch it, snuggle down, get the rest that you need and deserve, and get better cardiometabolic health. See you next time.